just got the call that the fabricator is ready to make my helixes on his big cool machine, and I want to film it. It's about an hour away, so hang on for the ride. Initially, I thought I would try to make the metal part of the sculpture by hand. I had an idea to get a thick piece of sheet steel, plasma cut out a spiral, and stretch it up. But as I thought about it, I realized that was going to be really hard, and I wanted it to look really precise and sharp. So the best way to do that was to hire someone that had the machinery to do it, rather than trying to roll and bend all that pipe myself. I think that the money I'm spending to get this done is well worth it versus the amount of time it would have taken me to make something that was inferior. Sometimes you got to throw in the towel and call someone with the right tools, you know? So it really just is the same as the Harbor Freight machine, but bigger and accurate. Like the hand crank, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And that's just a bottle jack?
Yeah, I didn't want to spend the $3,500 or $4,000 for this special device.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I can do my own. All right, so I can go, now what's gonna happen here, and it's doing it now, you see, right up here it's kind of squishing the tube.
Yep.
So that part's gonna get ruined.
Yep.
But I'm gonna run this up to 11 degrees. Right there. I'm also gonna measure just so I have a point of reference on here. So that puts me at like 12 and 9/16.
Issue with, yeah, we're going to cut it off there. Thank you very much. Things do not want to sit still.
Sounds like Steely Dan in the back of the Plymouth Valori, 1978 track. No, they can't take that sound from me. Cross a few train tracks, the windows will rattle, but we'll get back to speed now. I'm always safe and warm in these childish memories, and sometimes
there because it's a local business and they have that whole steel by the pound section I was just in. It's all cut-offs and drops and whatnot. So I went in looking for a cut-off with some, you know, some steel plating or something that I could cut a 36-inch circle out of. And while I'm walking around, wouldn't you know it, I found a 36-inch circle already cut for me. So it's a win-win. It saves me the labor of trying to cut the circle, and it also saves me spending the money on the cutoff because they sell that stuff by the pound. So instead of buying a 36-inch square and having scrap of the circle, they needed to make holes for someone, and I was able to take the hole. I love it when a plan comes together. Now that I had all the metal in shop, I was ready to go, and I also took some of the drops in the practice runs with me that were half the length of pipe to start experimenting with putting this thing together. And here you can see I have two pieces. I just welded them into a piece of scrap steel and just really loosely started tacking them together and welding them just to make sure that this whole idea was going to work before I jumped into the big expensive version of it. So I'm using paracord and just experimenting with how this works. To get these coils perfectly symmetrical all the way around, I'm pretty much there right now, or at least close enough to the human eye. But the coil is a little bit tighter than we thought it would be. As Wade explained when he was bending this, it's sort of like a black art to get these spirals, and we took a couple tests. And this was supposed to be about 27 inches, 26 inches in diameter here, but it's coming in as more like 24 inches, which is a little bit smaller than I wanted because the keys that I have cut, I won't be able to fit them side by side in here. So now I have to decide what to do, if I want to try and fudge the distance or if I want to cut the keys or make new keys. I'm not quite sure yet. Getting this angle just right. I want the piece to stand straight, obviously. I got this one pretty good on the first try. I'm using this board as a surrogate for the floor. welded to the base. I've got these, I had welded them together to help me bring it over, then I busted them apart so I could finagle it, and now I've got them, these cross supports just basically welded to one side and just pushing against the other side to just help me space it. What I've got is it's not quite right yet, which is, you know, what I expected. It takes a lot of finagling. I'm going to readjust my ropes now that I've got it held up. The ropes are not actually holding it, and continue to finagle and break welds and put it back together to get it the way I want. It might not be mathematically accurate, but it's pretty sexy how it's getting sort of wider there. So now what I'm thinking about doing is once I get these ropes put in, I don't know, I'm not quite sure yet, but I just like how it's 23 inches here and like 27 inches there. I like the look of that. It's more visually interesting than having them being perfectly symmetrical. But then down at the bottom, it sort of gets a little more swooping. And then at the top, it sort of swoops, and I like that. I'm going to try and make it perfect aesthetically rather than mathematically.